1 minute or so behind schedule, but hey, it's the end of Tucson, and I'm feeling pretty lucky that we're here at all. Um, okay, we have Deanna Atieno up on deck. She's filling in for Tema Higuchi, who had to cancel her presentation last minute. And Deanna is going to start the talk about mining gemstones in Africa. This is fantastic. She is a wonderful lady. I think you're going to enjoy this. So we're going to go straight to Stuart Niebert in the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery studio, in the broadcast room, or what do we call it? Presentation room. And I'm going to have him go. Stu, we are broadcasting and ready to go. Thank you.
Yeah, just asking him to remove the audio because it's loud, right? Yeah, just ask him to remove the audio.
Welcome everyone to the final Friday here at the Tucson Gem Mineral Show of 2024 here at the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery. My name is Stu Niebert and I'm the gallery manager here throughout the year. This afternoon, it's my honor and pleasure to bring up Diana Atieno of Brady Gems and to present her talk on gemstone mining in Africa. So without any further ado, Diana, take it away.
Thank you. I have my coffee with me. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I have a flu, so I sound horrible. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me well? Yes. Okay, good. So my name is Diana Atieno, and I own a small company called Porini Gems Limited, and we are based in Nairobi, Kenya. I started the company 10 years ago, and I loved gemstones, so I wanted to get involved in gemstone dealing. But apart from just wanting to be involved in gemstone dealing, I wanted to be at the stage where it's, birthed from earth and then brought out into the world and processed to look like what we have on display over there. So I decided to get into mining. And it's not a space that has a lot of women. And okay, I can see a few women in the room, that's great. So it's a space that doesn't have a lot of women. And I decided that this is where I want to be. This is where all the action is, and so I want a part of it. So I decided to get into mining. So we celebrated our 10-year anniversary last weekend, and some of the goodies here are for you to have as soon as we finish with the talk to celebrate with us. So come on over and pick one. It's a nice coffee mug. So every morning when you're having coffee, you can think of Perini Gems. So initially when I got into the business, I had partnered with someone to mine the gemstones. And then last year, I decided to finally do it on my own. So I got a claim, or rather claims, they're called claims, or concessions. Got a claim from someone, I decided to buy them so I can mine by myself. And this is the process that you can see here that we have begun doing. So in terms of mining of gemstones, I'm just going to talk generally. I won't make it very technical because if I make it very technical, then you won't remember anything. So I'll just speak off of my head in personal experience. So in gemstone mining, there's two types of mining. There's the open pit mining, and then there's tunnel mining. With colored gemstones, it depends. You can do either open pit or you can do the tunnel mining. With diamonds, mostly, it tends to be open pit as well, but I think there's sections where they do tunnel mining. Unfortunately, in Kenya, it is claimed that we do not have diamonds. I don't know how true that is, but the government claims that there's no diamonds at all in Kenya that have ever been found. But strangely enough, there's diamonds in Tanzania, on the Shinyanga area, you can be able to find diamonds. So because we do not have diamonds in Kenya, when you get a dealer's license, you only get a colored gemstone license. You do not get a diamond license. So Kenya is one of the few countries in Africa that is not under the Kimberley certificate or the Kimberley process because we do not have diamonds. However, from the southern border of Kenya, which is where you can see here, it lies all the way from the East African Gem Belt going all the way to Mozambique, which still again is strange that we do not have diamonds in Kenya. So we do mining of colored gemstones in this area. This area is called Taita Taveta in Kenya, and it is towards the southern part. We do mining of all kinds of colored gems. There's rubies, there's emeralds, there's tsavorite. Tsavorite is a more popular stone from that region. There's tourmaline, there's rhodolites, there's red garnets, there's iolites, there's sapphires. All sorts of gems are found in this specific area. So mostly for the mining that we're doing, we tend to use tunnel. What we were doing initially was tunnel mining. But on this new piece of land that we just acquired, we are yet to see what we're going to do. We are still doing the feasibility study. And so the feasibility study will be able to show us or to determine for us which is a better way to mine in this specific region. So the area spans 749 acres and has 49 claims. I'm sorry. And we are looking at starting the mining process sometime in mid-June. Any questions so far? No, none? Okay.
I can see that the land is mostly flat.
Yes.
Do you plan on digging?
We plan on digging.
Vertical tunnels?
Yes. But this is determinant on what the feasibility study will show. So if the feasibility study says we need to use tunnel mining, then that is what it's going to be. If it is open pit, then we will do open pit. If you look at the land, there's some sections where they were already mining. The previous owner was already mining, but because he was mining without a plan, he was digging here, giving up, moving there, digging up. So I do not want to make the same mistakes that they make. So that's why we are doing the feasibility study, so that before we start any process, we know exactly what we're doing, then we don't end up wasting so much money and resources. Yeah. It all depends. It depends on what the feasibility study will show. But the previous mine, we went as deep as 200 feet. Yeah. So they do go quite deep. Yeah?
How does the visibility study work?
So there's a company, or there's companies that do exploration. So they will do geological surveys and geological studies on the land. And then they will come and do exploration. So the exploration will be digging in different sections of the land to determine what is underground. And then once they've done that, they come up and they provide you with the study of what's on the ground and the lifeline of what's available on the land. And they will also tell you what sort of stones are there. So you will be able to know whether it's a worthy investment or it's not. Yeah. Any more? Any other questions? Okay. All right, so for equipment of mining, we use different sorts of equipment. There's excavators, so the excavators are used to dig and remove the soil from the land. Then we have the diggers, like the one that had passed previously, the one that breaks the different kinds of rocks. There's compressors. The compressors are used in the tunnel to pull out air or put in a little bit of clean air in the tunnels. And there's mining trucks that are used to move huge amounts of soil from the area. So what happens once a mine has been exhausted, then there's processes of land restoration and land reclamation. So you can reuse the land for something else once you've exhausted the mine, as opposed to just leaving it open. It becomes dangerous for people as well as animals. So the best thing to do is you can cover it back, probably even use it as a farm or build something above it. So that is one of the plans that we are planning on doing with this. If we mine and we exhaust, we will make sure that we will be dealing with a lot of land reclamation and restoration to be able to take care of the earth. Any questions? Or any feedback or any input? Yeah.
How far is it? Like, do you have to like camp out when you're there, or is it not close enough where you can drive there daily back and forth?
No.
I'm curious of how.
No, it's very far. So the capital city of Kenya is Nairobi, and I live in Nairobi. And this is in Taita Taveta, an area called Taita Taveta, which is about a 7-8 hour drive from Nairobi. So once you get to Voi, which is the main town, I usually stay at a lodge in an area called Taita Taveta, which is close by. But from the lodge to the mine is about an hour and a half drive on rough road. So yeah, every morning I have to drive an hour and a half, every evening an hour and a half, because well, the men stay there. We have camps for the men can stay there. But as a woman, well, I have too much going on, makeup and nice clothes. So I have to leave every evening. So I leave and I drive every morning, drive back every evening.
And they mine even like during the day, all throughout the year. It doesn't matter like what the heat or anything.
The only issue is when it's raining. When it's raining, it's a bit of a problem because the tunnels fill up with water. So that's the only time that we have an issue. But when it is sunny, it's even better. However, it does get very hot inside the tunnels, unbearably hot. I think there's one of the pictures when I'm in the tunnel and I'm dripping in sweat. It gets unbearably hot. But it's better the heat than the rain because when it fills up with water and people are in the tunnel, it could get extremely dangerous. Yeah.
You're just using generators, like gas power to like air.
Exactly. Yeah. Any more? Mm-hmm.
Because it's all flat land,
Yeah.
how do you make decision which piece of land to buy? Because you don't know where the market is.
So what the government has done is that it has already done a study. Yeah. So this is a mining zone. So the only activity in that specific area is mining and nothing else. You cannot build there, you cannot construct anything permanent. Yeah, you cannot put anything. The only activity here is mining. So anything that you do in this specific area just has to be related to mining. You cannot also put permanent structures because it borders a national park and there's animals. And so to not bother the animals, permanent structures are not allowed. So any structure that you put has to be temporary, easily removable, so it doesn't bother the animals. Yeah.
Do the animals ever come into your mining area?
Yes, they do a lot. I think when this video starts, I don't know what Brian did with it. I don't know if I can move it here, but you can see animal trucks somewhere there. And there's all kinds of animals as well. There's elephants, giraffes, lions, buffaloes.
And are these all claims then in Africa? Like you can't own the land, but it's all, obviously they're putting this area for only mining, and then you said there's 47 claims. So is it like a lottery system? I'm just curious how it works in Africa. It's different here across the United States as well.
So, okay, this is in relation to just Kenya. So Tanzania will have their own laws, it's a different country. Zambia will have their own laws, it's a different country. So will South Africa and all the other African countries. But this is just in relation to Kenya. Now, a claim is just a small, like 100 by 1,000 meters. So you can buy the claims and mix them together to span one large area. So the owner of this area had 49 claims. If you put them together, it brings a total of 743 acres of land. Yeah, so it's like 3 kilometer by 1 kilometer. By each claim, it's about 100 by 1,000 meters. It's not that. So you can buy several of them, combine them, or you can buy several of them in different areas. So you can have this in one area 20 minutes away, another claim an hour away, another claim 5 minutes away, like that. But he bought them together so that he has one large piece. Yeah. You had a question somewhere there?
Oh, I was wondering, since the land is designated for mining, if that limits what you can do with your reclamation project?
Um, in terms of what? What would you want to do differently?
Like, I'm assuming you just would plant natives, right? But if you wanted farmland or permaculture.
Oh, no, no, no.
You can't do that.
No, you can't do any proper farming, no.
Okay.
Yeah, and the soil itself, I do not think would be very viable for farming. It has a lot of quartz crystals. Yeah.
So the reclamation would just be like replanting native plants?
Yeah, putting back the trees and yeah, putting back the native trees to there. There's a lot of acacia trees in the area. So that is mostly what you would plant back and make sure that they're not left as gaping holes. Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions? All right. Okay. We'll move on. So once we have done the extraction of the gemstones or the minerals from the ground, we then go through a process of sorting, cleaning, and then after that we do the polishing. And then once we've done all of that, we then take it out for faceting. And then once it is faceted, we then set them into jewelry. So it's process. Now the industry has divided itself in ways that some people just mine, some people just get the gems, sort them, clean them, process them, and sell them as loose gems. And then there's a section that, of course, is selling jewelry. Then the section that is selling minerals, and then we are all together as one in the gem industry. But for us, we are thinking we can do the whole process from mine to market because why not? We have we have all kinds of gemstones, not just in Kenya but in Africa, which makes it easier for us to access any kinds of gemstones that we want. And then apart from having the stones, we have the metals. If you go to the western part of Kenya, we have gold, we have silver, we have copper, so we have the metals as well. We can easily get gold from Western Kenya to set on our jewelry. Currently, all the jewelry we are doing, because we only recently started doing jewelry, we are using gold from Western Kenya. But we are doing very high quality, very high standard jewelry, which it's still new to us, but I think we're trying. I think as this loops, you will see some jewelry in there. This is an interesting area, actually. This is a sisal plantation. So before you get to the mines, you have to cut across this farm. And this farm is 33,000 acres. So you cut across it before you get to the mining area, which is quite interesting. And you can see what's interesting is that the sisal plants, they stay green all year round. And then as soon as you move from there into this particular area, it just changes completely. So there's one green section and then there's one section that is just dry, which is it's just so bizarre. But it makes it very interesting to drive across because you see all sorts of topography, and even on top, if you're flying above, the changes in colors as you're moving about is very interesting. Any questions? Mm-hmm.
Did you say you were manufacturing the stones as well there? And the silver, so you're having all the stones cut locally and then?
Yes, we have all the stones cut locally, like some of the stones displayed there. We cut them all locally. And all the gold that we use is also sourced locally. So it comes from Western Kenya. Of course, we don't do the mining of gold, but we get the gold from Western Kenya. So we have suppliers from there. At least we know how they're extracting their gold, their practices, and then we use their gold to make the jewelry. Yeah, so we are trying to do the whole process from mine to market. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Only the ladies are asking questions. Yeah, go ahead. Currently in the main office, we are 5, but then in the mine, there's about 12. We used to be more, but during COVID, we had to kind of reduce because we just couldn't work. Yeah, so there was a bit of a reduction, but we are hoping that now that things are looking up, and with the new acquisition and with better flexibility to achieve what we want to achieve, we can have more people. And we recently just ordered 10 machines from Ultratech. So we'll be cutting, and Victor will be coming to help us. Yeah.
Have you mentioned what you're mining besides just gems? What kind of gems?
Savorites and tourmalines.
Thank you.
Yes. Uh-huh.
What would you say your biggest challenge is?
The biggest challenge is getting the right resources and getting the funding for all this. Yeah, it's very capital intensive and very labor intensive. So getting staff that would be willing to work out there, that's one challenge. And getting staff that also understand the business is also another challenge because everybody that I employ, I have to train, which is the hardest part for me because I'm such a poor trainer. I don't know I don't know how to train people with all of this. But now as we go along, I'm just thinking, I'll be getting experts like Victor to come and teach, come and help us, come and share their knowledge, because I'm not very good at it. But yeah, everybody currently, because in Kenya we don't even have gemology courses. So it is my hope that the more we keep going, the more we'll involve government, and maybe they can have some of the courses of gemology taught in universities, and that will make it easier to employ people. Currently, it's very difficult. Anybody we employ has no clue at all about anything to do with gemstones, so we have to train. Yeah.
Do you have, like, big safety issues there?
No.
It's not highly regulated?
We've not had any security problems, actually. Um,
But like safety with, your miners and,
them stealing.
well, into, accidents or injuries on the job, with the tunneling.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So far, so good. There has been no injuries, but we have them on healthcare. We have some of them on healthcare. So if anything happens, we have made sure that they have registered with the National Hospital Insurance Fund, which gives minimum care for all Kenyans. So if anything happens, at least there's the bare minimum where you can be hospitalized. And then as a company, depending on the injury or depending on what has happened, we would be able to take care of you.
So your mining's not like regulated by the government if you use explosives?
It is sort of, but we do not use explosives. Yeah, currently we do not use explosives because there's no reason to. The only time that explosives are used is if the rocks are too hard and you need to blast them. And that's actually in certain sections they're used, but we've had no reason so far to use them here. Yeah, so they're only used when necessary. Hmm.
You mentioned something earlier about a feasibility study to
It-
figure out where to dig.
Yeah.
Did the feasibility study involve digging a series of boreholes, to a systematic pattern to figure where there might be some showings of gemstones?
Yes, that's coming.
Did you cover all 700 acres?
It's going to cover all the 49 claims.
Wow.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done yet.
It hasn't been done yet. This is the new acquisition. But what I'm speaking on is the one that I had partnered with someone when we used to. But this one is the new one, so we're in the process of doing all of that. So there'll be boreholes dug on all the 49 claims. And then that will determine where we will be doing the digging. Yeah. Any more? More questions? So I have a question for you. What are some of the misconceptions you have of mines in Africa? misconceptions or stereotypical thoughts or things you've heard about mines in Africa?
Lions.
Lions? Well, the lions are there. They're just not interested in what we're doing. So they stay away. And they pretty much stay away. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about security and having the miners steal gemstones?
Well, so far, I cannot say that I have had an experience where the miners steal, because our agreement has always been this belongs to us. So if you steal, you're stealing from yourself. Yes. So my idea was that whatever we get out of the ground, you get a certain percentage of it, and then it becomes yours. So if you steal, you're stealing from yourself. Yeah. So it's worked so far, but I cannot say for sure. Yeah, yeah. I cannot say for sure that it's 100% foolproof, but it has worked. And then at the same time, I'm not there 100% of the time. I can't man them. Like now I'm here. I don't know what's going on. I have to trust that they will do what's right. And so far, so good. I mean, if you nick a stone here or there, it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Do you find much specimen grade salarite, like terminated floater kind of garnet?
Actually, no.
Okay, so it comes out of the ground?
Yeah, it comes more like this. Actually, that's one of the things that we've been discussing, because we just don't find mineral specimens for saprolite. They're very hard to come by. Even if you walk around the shows, I think I've only seen them 2 times. I've only seen 2 places that have them, but they were rather small. And before I got into minerals, I didn't know much about minerals, and now is when we're digging and we're thinking, oh, this would make a nice specimen. This would make a nice specimen. So I'm trying to get the guys to be aware of what they're doing now, so that anytime we take out something that we think is mineral worthy, we can keep it as is. And I've been referencing some of this with some good friends like Dave Weissman. So we'll always take pictures, send to him, do you think this is worth it? Do you think this is good enough for a mineral? And he's always very quick in responding and will say, yes, this can work, this wouldn't work. Make sure it's on its own matrix. Do not destroy it, do not do this, do not do this. So at least we are learning as we go along. And we are hoping that if we start work on this, maybe there'll be some interesting specimens coming out, and we can save those.
How
Yeah.
about tourmaline? Have you found nice tourmaline specimens, or are they also mostly rough material?
Now, the problem with tourmaline is, as I said before, we never used to pay attention to mineralogy, so they used to be broken up. It's only now that I am encouraging as much as possible. If you find something that looks interesting, don't break it up. Because a lot of the times they'll just chisel away and make sure that they get good chunks of whatever is coming out of the veins. So now we are trying to figure out how we can move more towards the mineral side and have some of the specimens with us. Yeah.
It can make a big difference.
It does, yeah, yeah. I mean, all this has been a game changer for me. And just taking the pictures and showing the guys, look, this is what we can do with these minerals, has also been very eye-opening for them. It's all about education, because most of the time people don't know until, they discover something. Then it's like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, so now I get a lot of pictures sent to me of different kinds of stones. Initially, I remember people used to come to me with really big pieces of like fluorite, blue fluorite or green fluorite. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. But now I know Peter Dreher. So, yeah, it will be, Peter, would you like one of these? And yeah, so it's all very eye-opening, very game-changing. Yeah. Any more questions? Ever visited any mines anywhere in Africa, South America, America? No? You have?
Yeah, I've been to the mines in Paula, which is like northeast of San Diego, where there's pegmatite. So there's like tourmaline there, but also quartz and aquamarine. I think
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was pretty cool because we just were digging through tailings. You can go and spend like 50 or 70 bucks for the day to dig through their tailings that have like little good stuff in it, and then they'll show you around and show you where the tunnels are and stuff.
Oh,
Can't go
okay.
into everything, but you've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I lived part of my life in Ethiopia,
Oh, nice.
and so I got to go down and see the placer gold mine down there.
Oh, cool.
And I tried to buy some of the gold from the government, and they said, you can't ship it to the US because it's forced labor.
Oh. Hmm.
Slave labor that they were using.
Oh.
And the government was the one that organized it.
So is this the U.S. government or the Ethiopian government?
Ethiopian government.
Oh, is the one
was
that
using
said.
forced labor,
Oh, okay.
and that's why the US would not.
Allow it. Okay, okay, good. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's unfortunate. They have a lot of opals in Ethiopia.
Now, they didn't have what I was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now there's some interesting opals coming out of there, even black ones. Yeah. So I think they're opening up slowly. They've been having some political issues, but I think they're opening up slowly. I'm not so sure about their gold mines, but yeah, I do know about the opal mines. Yeah, which are interesting. Yeah.
My husband and I have a mine in Ramona,
Oh,
California.
oh, cool.
So I'm always really interested in how it works in other parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It is newer to me.
Yeah.
And then also, from rough to cut to market.
Yeah.
Breaking into cut stones.
Mm-hmm.
Love to check all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not, we have specialty garments.
Oh, I love spessartine. That's a beautiful color. Very fiery. I love that. Yeah.
And we have green.
No, but there are very plenty in Tanzania. I've not seen Kenyan ones, but I've seen from Tanzania. They're very, very fiery, orange, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any more questions? Any more misconceptions apart from the lions? Yeah.
I thought it might be more dangerous, so that's good to hear that so far, so then on that front.
Yeah, it's not dangerous. I don't know why, every time you hear about Africa, there's always the word danger next to it. And it's just not true. I drive myself from Nairobi to the mines, and I drive myself from the lodge to the mine. And I've never experienced any issue whatsoever. I think if you do, it's just bad luck. But I have never had any issue whatsoever. I'm a woman, I'm always alone, I drive myself. Even if I meet the animals, they're very nice. They're probably laying on the road, they see you coming, they will move. So you don't even get attacked by animals. Um, in countries like DRC, however, there's a lot of child labor in like the cobalt mines, and that has been a problem for years and years. And it's very indicative that their government is not willing to do anything to change this. But that's DRC. So other countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, where the emeralds come from, there's no child labor in the mines at all. If you, for instance, if you come to this mining region in Kenya, you will not see a single child. None. So children are not allowed to work in the mines. Everybody that works there is an adult, mostly men, very few women, but no children at all. And the same applies for the gold regions, same applies for like the oil regions or the cement. You will never find children. Child labor laws in Kenya are very strict. And I would say the same applies for countries I have visited like Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe. Sorry, not Zimbabwe, Botswana. But yeah, DRC is still a problem.
Even with the new tourmaline coming out of there, because I've been kind of hesitant to buy that even though it's so beautiful.
From DRC?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
DRC has everything. They have everything you can imagine. But it's a very politically unstable country, and I don't know what will be done to change that. Yeah, it's a bit tough, but it's a beautiful country. I've never been, just because of all the issues. There's no need for me to source anything from there, because then it's almost like you're fueling the conflict. So I do tend to avoid anything from DRC. Yeah, so I don't buy from DRC at all. I've never even been, um, and I'm not even curious. Until it gets better, then I think it's just best to not support what's going on there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Any more questions? None? Well, the thing is, this region here is flat, and I wanted it flat for a reason. Because apart from the mining, I have an intention of putting other things on site. And if it has a lot of hills, then some of these things will not be possible. So what I want to do here is to set up a factory for cutting. I also want to set up like a small lodge where people can stay and come and see the mining process. And we also want to have like sort of an airstrip where people can land if they do not want to drive, because the drive is very far. And then this is even farther. Once you come into Voi town, you have to drive another 2 hours inward on rough road. It may not be comfortable for everybody. So the reason for it being flat is very specific. I chose it flat because of the many things that we want to do on it. It's temporary. It's temporary, yeah. So for instance, if you build, if you do like a prefabrication, it's not, it's like using, as I call, iron sheets, and then you do the prefab inside, make it look really nice, and then you can do a nice flooring. So that's not permanent structure. And then when it comes to the lodges, you can do the tented camps. You can do luxurious tented camps. Those are also very temporary. So it's nothing like brick and mortar. Yeah, it's all very temporary. So in case you need to remove it, it's pretty easy. There's actually there's water bodies there. Let me see if I can find those water bodies. But there's water bodies around there. But at the same time, we tend to dig boreholes, watering holes, and bring in water using trucks. But do you see there? There's a lot of hills there. Yeah, so a lot of mining happens in that specific area there where there's a lot of hills. Yeah. I think the Bridges mine has to be somewhere around there.
Is all the mining above the water table?
Yes. Yeah. Let me see. I can't find. As it loops, I think there should be like water there. But so what we do is we dig boreholes as a water source. But in terms of drinking water and clean water, we use trucks. So we bring them in using trucks, and then we have water tanks. So the water tanks are filled with water, so there's water on site throughout, running all through the day. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but yeah. Uh-huh. Any other questions? All right. My questions to you then. What would you be interested in seeing in terms of a mine? Assuming you all wanted to come visit the mine in Kenya, what would you want to see?
We have some mining,
Mm-hmm.
processing,
Mm-hmm.
and the gym code.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because we are thinking we could also have a small mineral section where we can display all the minerals that we find in the region. Yeah, now that we can start saving them. Yeah, and have our own collection, which maybe we can be bringing over from time to time for people to see. Yeah, yeah, that's the problem. See that dark area there? There's like a watering hole there. And then this here, those are the animal tracks as they walk about looking for water. Yeah.
How far is the airport to the site?
So there's no real airport, but there's airstrips. So on the sisal plantation, there's an airstrip there. On the sanctuary or the lodge where I usually stay, which is a sanctuary, there's another airstrip. I think there's about 4 airstrips in the area that can land small planes. But in terms of airport, major airport, none.
So you go from the airport
To the airstrip, yes. So if you were to fly from Nairobi, you would fly from Wilson Airport, land in one of the airstrips in the area, or you would come from Mombasa, which is the city in the south by the coast, and then it would bring you to the airstrip here. But there's no major airport. It's all just airstrips for small planes. Yeah. It's a bit of a drive, so it would be better to have one on site. Yeah, because the other one is a bit of a drive. The one that the bridges used to have is no longer working. I think they shut it down or something, so it's not working. But this land here, the sisal plantation, they do have an airstrip. So you can land there, and then it's about an hour drive to that site. So that's why we are thinking the easiest would be to have one there where the planes can just land, make it easier for any guests that we have who are coming and do not want to go through the long drive. Yeah. Any questions?
Is that snow?
Snow? No, thank God. I'm not a huge fan of snow. No, it's not snow. It's inside the mine.
What type of like material is it? Is it what you're digging into as you go down into tunneling? Or I know you're not tunneling, or even the pits to feel safe that they're not going to collapse.
So the land here is, I think like with different minerals, there's different geological structures. Some tend to be looser than others. In the gem mining sites, the land is not very loose. It's very solid. So that's why sometimes we need such equipment to break down the rocks. So any concern for it crumbling or coming down on people is near impossible, which is not to be said for where gold forms or coal or copper. Those are very different because in a lot of the coal mines, the soil is a little bit loose, and so is gold. Gold will actually, when they do the tunnels, I think you've heard of cases where a gold tunnel actually comes down on people, but you've never heard of gemstones. Yeah, so the geographical structure is very different. Yeah. A real science in itself. God knew what he was doing. Yeah. Uh-huh. Any any input, any questions, anything? What do you think? Your thoughts? Thoughts?
Well, certainly like hearing about your mining operation. Wish you all the success with your new acquisition.
Thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a lot of work, but I am hoping that with the help of all of you who have been in the business for a long time, you can give your input and help us. Yeah, and we can bring it to life. The other thing that we're doing is we are incorporating a lot of technology. As you can see here, we use drones. We use drones for surveys. We use drones for automosaic imagery, which makes it easier for us to be able to view the land from top and see what's going on. We also use something called laser mapping on gemstones when cutting. Laser mapping helps with retaining the weight and the size of the stone. So that one, we get the machines from Ogitech. And so before we do any cutting of special gemstones, we use the laser engraving on the stone before we do the cutting. Yeah, so that gives out a better yield. Yeah. So a lot of technology in play, which I think is quite different from before. So it's making work easier somewhat. Not if it's private. Not if it's private. And I don't know if they will be interested, but the problem that I have with government getting involved in such things is once they do, it becomes very politicized, and then everything you want to do is out the window. So I would rather they are not, or I would rather they come when the foundation has already been built and it is strong enough for them to just offer support and input, as opposed to forcing ideas on you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. You pay royalties and you pay export permits and you have your license and yeah, you have to pay taxes. Oh, for sure. um, they don't know how much you take out. The taking out is not the problem. It's the export that's the problem. Because now that's where they catch you. Of course, they can't stay at your mine, manning whatever you're doing. But the moment you're taking it out, you have to pay those royalties, you have to pay those taxes, you have to pay those permits. You don't have a choice. Yeah. So it's sort of a very difficult industry to regulate in that sense, but it does work when it comes to export. But I think if anything is kept locally, um, then it's difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
But now, does it allow you to export rough stones or only polish?
Oh, in Kenya, you can export either. You can export either rough, you can export cut. There's no restriction on exporting of rough savorite, unlike Tanzania, where there's restriction on exporting of tanzanite. Yeah, so in Tanzania, you can only export 1 gram of rough, and above that, it has to be cut. But this is because they claim that they want to keep value addition in the country and have more gem cutters. In a way, it has worked, I think. However, they still kind of struggle with having perfect cuts. They work more towards weight retention as opposed to the brilliance of the stone, which still remains a challenge in the industry there. So it means that if you buy tanzanite, it could be as beautiful as ever, but you have to recut it, as you know. Yeah. So I think, however, I think the value addition, the more they keep going, the more they keep learning, the more they keep getting the expertise, it will change with time. But for Kenya as a country, there's no restriction of what you can take out. Yeah. The Tanzanite, I mean, sorry, Savorite is not highly regulated. And I don't know if that's because the government feels they're not really getting much from it yet. But I think when it gets to a point where there's so much buzz about Tanzanite, about Savorite, the way there is about Tanzanite, then probably they'll come in and start putting mind-boggling restrictions. Pardon? Thank you. Thank you so much.
How much
We need.
production of gemstones have you produced so far?
Here, none yet, because we haven't started work on this. But on the previous mine, we did have quite a large production of some savorite and very high for tourmaline. There was a specific year that we had a very good production of tourmaline. Yes.
What color turquoise are you finding there?
Chrome. The ones over there. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Any more input, questions, thoughts? Yeah. So how many are willing to come visit? Oh, nice. I'll have to arrange a trip then. I'll have to arrange a trip so you can all come and visit us and see how we produce savorite and tourmalines and all kinds of other gemstones. Yeah, it will be nice to have you take you around and show you the process. So I think and I hope that at the end of all this, you can see that the misconceptions or the stereotypes that you have about us Africans is not true. We are very hardworking, peaceful people in certain regions of the continent, and we have some international standard work as well. Yeah, so this is some part of the jewelry that we have. This was an expo we did in Bahrain. So we do bring our gemstones all over the world. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We did good, actually. We did an hour, almost an hour. So you're welcome. Pick up your coffee mug so you remember me every morning when you have your coffee. Any questions you have, anything at all you have you'd like to share?
How far are you from the Rift Valley?
Oh, that's quite far. This region here from the Rift Valley.
Is that Plains area there?
Yes, that one right there. That's very far from the Rift Valley. Very. Like, yeah, it's quite a drive.
Your stuff is all here.
Yeah, you can have a look at some of that. All the good stuff is sold, but there's still some beautiful stuff there you can have a look at.
Did you do one of the
And that was Deanna Atieno that was just presenting and hopefully changing your misperceptions or perceptions on gem mining in Africa. Wonderful lady. She is one of the very, very few female gem mine owners and doing wonderful things out there. So I hope you enjoyed that program. That is pretty much going to wrap up all of the scheduled programs for the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery here in Tucson for our 2024 season. On Monday, all of the live programs that are still online will be pulled off of YouTube, and we will start putting those into post-production and releasing them a little bit later, cleaned up just a bit for your entertainment. So that's going to do it. Keep on checking out Blue Cat Productions pages for more live from the Tucson show. And if if you're still in Tucson, come visit everyone here at the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery. Otherwise, our next huge live production will be at the 2024 Sainte Marie Almine show. So that's going to be an exciting show coming up this June. Gosh, I'm almost sad to say goodbye from Tucson for the rest of this year. It's been a long haul, and it is a little bit bittersweet now that it's coming to an end. But if you are in town, come visit us here, or come on down to the main show, the TGMS show at the Tucson Convention Center, going on through Sunday. And today is only Friday, so we have 2 more days. And we're going to be on the floor of the TGMS for both days, running around, doing the video interviews that we love to do. And if you happen to see us, stop by and say howdy do. Otherwise, take care. Thanks for watching. Catch up with you later.